Great. Welcome everybody to this webinar where you already saw a great introduction, and maybe it could be you next year studying there at UCD Smurfit School in Ireland. So we are going to have a little presentation about the master programs in the next 45 minutes or so. And before we go over to the speakers, I'd like to briefly explain to you some of the interactive options we have. My name is Luc Mulling. I'm the moderator of today. And yeah, first of all, like I see already many of you do, you can say where you're logging in from. So we already have people from different countries joining in. That's great. Besides that, we also have the option to ask questions. That's of course important. So you can write your questions at any time also through the panel called questions at the right bottom. If you do it there, then we make sure we don't miss any. And we'll be answering the questions at the end of the session. Also, I will be opening up a couple of polling questions. I will actually start opening up one right now. So we also like to hear your feedback, just to get to know you a little bit better, and yeah, things that you find important. And there will be a couple of more pollings as well. And last but not least, there's a little fun button, I like to call it. At the bottom of the screen, you see a button called React. If you click on that, it will indeed, that's the one. If you do that, we can make sure you interact with us, and it also makes it a little bit more fun for the presenters who cannot see you. So talking about the presenters, let's go over to them. We start with Alistair. Alistair, you will introduce yourself and then over to the students. So go ahead and good luck.
Hi everybody, my name is Alistair Brewer. I'm the admissions manager here at UCD Smurfit. I'm joined by some alumni, so I'll just let them introduce themselves first, and then we'll come back to me and I'll start on the presentation. Okay. Well, who should go? Jan, do you want to just quickly?
Yeah, of course. Hello guys. Thank you and warm welcome from my side. I'm Jan. I'm part of the SEMS program at UCD, and I'm happy to give you some insights about the program. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Jan. And then Shret, do you want to do it as well with Jan?
Hello everyone. My name is Nguyen, and I'm currently a master student of the program Accounting and Financial Management.
Hello everyone, I'm Shrestha and I'm from New Delhi, India, and we are in the same course, so I'm also pursuing my master's in accounting and financial management.
Great, thank you. And then Quang, do you want to quickly introduce yourself as well?
Hello everyone, I'm come from Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. I'm currently studying Master of Management here in UCD Smurfit.
Great, thank you. Okay, well, so I'll chat for about 20 minutes or so and just give you a little bit of background. Then we'll have a student panel discussion. We'll just hear from our current students, and they'll tell you a bit about their life here. And then we'll come back to me and I'll talk about the admissions process a little bit. And then we'll open up for questions as well. But feel free to use the chat box, any questions you may have, or anything you may want to see, and we can try and get back to you a bit later on. Okay, so I'll start my presentation. So that's me there, yeah. So a little bit about us. Hopefully you know we're Ireland's leading top-ranked business school. We've got over 20 master's programs in a range of different areas, and we try and make them as specific as possible to help you move into the career that you're thinking about moving into. We've got a strong global alumni network all around the world who we try and put you in touch with because they will really help you in the next stages of your career. And then we have a dedicated careers team who will work with you and help you get into the work you want to when you finish. And then also we've got the Global Leadership Program, which I'll talk about, which is very unique point for us here at UCD Smurfit. Okay, next slide, please. So a little bit about our rankings. It's always important, but just to reassure you, when you do come here, you're in safe hands. You're going to get an internationally recognized qualification. We're consistently well ranked, with QS, with FT, with The Economist. Here's some of our rankings for specific programs that we have. Our programs are all very well ranked, and we're Triple Crown accredited. So you're rest assured that you come here, you're going to get a quality education, and it's recognized wherever you may be going in the future. The next slide, please. This is a little thing I like to include. So just to show you a little bit about what your background is, and then what you can go on to study. The common question we get is, you're coming from a non-business background, can you study in one of our programs? And for the majority of courses, you can. If you've got a good academic background and you have a good reason for wanting to do the program, maybe a little bit of experience, you can. Some of our finance programs, you may need a little bit of quantitative background, but generally, you're quite welcome to come from a non-business background to study with us. Traditionally, most people would come from a business background, but it's not the case anymore. So take a look and see which course you're interested in doing, and then if your background would allow for it. But you'll be surprised at what you may be able to do if you're interested in it. Okay, next slide, please. So one of the biggest things you'll find here is the networking opportunities, is what we really try and help you with when you come here, and setting you up with a careers team and help you meet people who will further your career. Ireland is a small place, and this idea of 2 degrees of separation, where it's quite easy to sort of connect with somebody. I found that myself as well from moving here from the UK, where it does feel a lot easier to connect with people here. And because of that, there is more opportunities available for you compared to on the other side for my background. So it's quite easy, and that alumni network really helps in making connections, and you'll be able to connect with them and make inroads into careers that you may want to move into. Okay, next slide, please. These are just a few of the employers. This is just a slight mix of those who our graduates have gone on to work for. We have a great slew of industries in Dublin. A lot have moved here, and it's sort of seen as the EU headquarters, being an English-speaking country in the EU. A lot of industries. You've got the tech industries based in Dublin, a lot of consultancy firms, and we have very good relationships with these companies. So Dublin's a great place because there's just so many companies and places that you can go on to work. And they're always confident in getting our graduates because they know they've gone through a good, vigorous education program. So these are just some of the places that you could go and work at. Next slide, please. I mentioned before about the careers team and maximizing your career success. I think this is becoming more and more important, and something that students are very focused on and thinking about. And when you come here, we do have our careers team who you should be able to meet with, and they will help you, the careers managers and support staff, into finding a way to go on and make connections with somewhere you want to work in Dublin, ideally if you stay. So this careers team is there to help you navigate the work life here. Next slide, please. So looking at the graduate employability rankings, this is the latest that they've released on QS. So UCD is ranked #1 in Ireland for graduate employability 5 years in a row. So our graduates do go on and find employment quickly, and it's still showing to be very good that graduates can go on and find employment And this is something we've seen sort of slowing down across major cities now. London in particular is really slowing down at the moment, and so it's getting harder and harder there to get a job quickly afterwards. But luckily Dublin seems to be quite resilient, and our graduates are finding that they can still find work pretty quickly, and it's something they want to do ideally as well. So we're pleased with how quickly unemployable our graduates are, which is obviously reassuring for yourselves, because that's the main reason I guess you're going to be doing a master's, is to further your career and allow you to go on and work in something that you want to work in. Okay, next slide, please. So I'll talk briefly about our GLP, the Global Leadership Program. This is something that really distinguishes us. It's an optional program that you can take, but I always recommend for students to sign up for it and take part in it. And if you sign up early enough, you will get a mentor as well. This is eligible for anybody. If you're a Smurfit student, you can take part in this program. And it just helps you with leadership skills, workplace skills, learning how to connect with the Irish job market, because it is different. It's different to where you've come from. It's different for me. You have to learn how to navigate this different market and the way things are done here. So this program just helps you become more aware of the workplace environment here, and also appreciate different cultures, learn critically. So it's a great extra program that you can take if you wish to do so. And it just develops the skills that employers want. So I'd always say, if you are coming here, definitely sign up for this. It's a little bit of extra work, but it's for your benefit. So that's our GLP, Global Leadership Program. Okay, next slide, please. Sustainability obviously is very important at the moment, and that's something that we've been really sort of highlighting. So we have a lot of programs and initiatives focused on sustainability. We have MSc in Sustainable Finance, Sustainable Supply Chain Management. So we have a lot of initiatives and programs centered around sustainability, if that is something that you are interested in doing or being involved in. Next slide, please. And then moving on from that, so we are very proud as well of our ranking in regards to sustainability. So UCD was named in the top 50 QS World University rankings for sustainability in 2024. We were ranked first in Ireland, 24th in Europe. So it's something that UCD is taking very seriously, and something that you as a student can get involved in as well if you would like to. Okay, next slide, please. I briefly touched upon this before when I talked about the different backgrounds that you may have when you're coming in to study with us. But we'd just like to reiterate that we do have lots of programs available for non-business students. So just because you're coming from a non-business background does not mean you're not eligible for a lot of our programs. So it's very common for you to be able to access a lot of our master's programs, even if you're coming from a non-business background. At the moment, we're looking at here specifically at Smurfit, around 60% of our students actually come from a non-business background. So please bear that in mind when you're thinking about what you may want to study. Okay, next slide, please. So briefly, I'll just talk about moving to Dublin, something that you will all be doing, and I'll let the students talk about their experiences as well soon about coming to Dublin and how it was. I moved to Dublin myself last year. It's a very welcoming place. So we'll talk about that. Next slide, please. We have local support. So you may have been dealing with the global centers so far. We have based around the world, the Asia Pacific Global Center, China Global Center, in your region. So they will often help you with any local inquiries you may have, events. But also when you come here, we have the international student support, we have a student advisor, and we have a lot of support for our international students who make up a large chunk of our student population here. So don't worry, we understand it's a big move, and you may need some support and just how to navigate life here and moving to a new country. So we're well aware of that, and we try and have excellent pre and post arrival support services for you. Okay, next slide, please. And as I'm sure you're aware of, we have the 2-year stay back visa. So for all master's students, you're automatically eligible for a 2-year stay back visa. So once you've graduated, you can get this 2-year stay back visa, which allows you to look for work and work on that. So this is something that you're all eligible to do as master's students. So this is something, and I found the visa process is generally quite welcoming here, especially for myself as well, coming from here and with a non-EU spouse as well. So I'm quite well aware of this process myself. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so I'll briefly like to move over, and I'll come back and I'll talk a bit more about the admissions side of things. But I thought we can go to our current students and just hear a little bit about them and their experiences and their life here at Smurfit. So let's start perhaps with Shref there and Nguyen. The two of you there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi guys. I'll let you both sort of answer at the same time. But how about you both just sort of, you can decide amongst yourselves who, but I guess my first question would just be like, why did you choose to come to UCD at Smurfit? Just tell us a bit about that, please.
Well, the first reason I searched about UCD is the ranking. It's really good student and impressive reputation. We can see it increasing in the level in QS ranking now. The second, because my course have update for the module next year, and I found about the sustainability update for our subject. And yes, that's the third reason, because I received some scholarship, and it's helped me a lot for those fee. Yeah.
Great. And Shreya, yourself?
Yeah, so I actually wanted to build my career in the accountancy. So seeing the global reputation of Smurfit School in accounting and finance, I just went for it. And then what I've seen is like they have a practical approach towards the curriculum while combining the theoretical knowledge with the real life scenarios. So with the exemptions provided in ACCA, CIMA, and ACA, I really thought that with this program I can move ahead in my career. And additionally, the career support services and the networking opportunities was really attractive. So I went for it.
Great. And then I'll stick with you two just a little bit longer. Can you just tell us about how has your experience been so far? So if you two just want to answer that question as well, how's your experience been so far at Smurfit? Have you been having a good time? Have you been enjoying your studies? So how's your experience been?
Wow, I found it quite interesting. Even from the first day I joined the orientation program. Yes, we have some Irish cultural exploration experience. It's really fun. And after that, even the some subject is a little bit difficult for me, but I received the support from the lecturer and the professional as well. And well, like as you said before, the GLP program is really great to improve our employability, and I joined this, and I can see so much like advantage to improve my CV and my career, the application. Yeah.
For me, like the curriculum has been rigorous, but it has been rewarding as well because we have been getting group assignments and case studies, which really helped us get an insight in how the real world works. And apart from that, there have been a lot of celebrations on the campus as well for like Halloween and Diwali, which we celebrate back in India. So it really felt like even though I was away from home, but it still felt like home here. So it was a good experience so far.
Great, thank you guys. I will come back to you both soon as well. But yeah, I was also impressed with how much Halloween was celebrated and everyone getting behind it here as well. Jan, let's move to you then. So I'm going to ask you the same questions as well. So the first question there, why did you choose Smurfit?
Yes, hello. First of all, I wanted to do my master degree in an English-speaking country, so this was my first point I need to check. And the second one was, of course, like the reputation of our university, and I think I can confirm it's outstanding globally. I'm very happy to be here. You have a very high level of education and also like the skill seminar. So I'm part of the SAMS program, like the community of European management schools. And so you have a very close connection during the skill seminars, for example, with the corporate partners. You have mentioned it, Alessa, before. And this was one of the key decisions I have to make.
Great, thank you. And then I guess the other question was, so it was why you chose UCD, and then how was your experience thus far? Can you tell us a bit about your experience?
Sure. So sometimes at the beginning it was a bit new for me because it was the first time living abroad by my own. But fortunately, I'm living together with some fellow students of my program, so it's very international, the environment here, so it's very diverse. For example, I'm living currently together with one Portuguese, one Spanish, and one French guy. So this is also like similar to the UCD. So it's very diverse. You have so many insights, so many cultures here. This is one of the key elements, I would say. Yeah, feel free to add some questions.
Great, thank you, Jan. And Kwang, I'll move to Kwang. So could you tell us perhaps about why you chose Smurfit?
Hello. So for me, the first impression was our ranking was stand out for the English-speaking countries. And the second was because my program is specific designed for people with a bachelor on non-business sector. So it's very suitable for me, which I have a bachelor of engineering. So that's why I choose Smurfit.
Great. And then can you just tell us a bit about your experience then thus far?
So I think that's the most impressed me here in UCD, which I would say that is not focused only on the teaching, but on the academic, but also of other development aspect as well. Like you will have a lot of event and socialize networking, like weekly, monthly, and like you can have a lot of opportunity to develop other skills as well. Yeah.
Great. Okay, and I've got another question, so I'll just come back around and ask it. I just wanted to hear about your experience in moving to Dublin, moving to Ireland. How's been your experience moving to a new country? Was there anything you wished that you knew before? So just a bit about your experience in moving to Ireland in a new country. Let's just go around the same again. So Shreds and Yin, come to you first. Your experience moving to Ireland.
Yeah, so moving to Ireland was a big step, of course, but like the admissions team really made it easy for me. they have been really helpful since the very beginning with all the resources they provided. And when I came here, so the orientation program also helped me to settle down quickly. One thing I would say that the finding accommodation is something which required a bit more effort if you haven't bagged in accommodation on campus. So there I needed some help, but then if you guys start early, so it will be much easier and manageable for you guys. So
good advice.
Yes, and this is the first time I study abroad, and I feel so nervous as the first time. And so luckily that I received the note with all the detailed necessary steps to do from the UCD when I apply. So it will help me a lot to prepare everything. And from the first day I landed to Dublin, I found the city was so much peaceful and beauty, have a lot of nature view, and the architecture is amazing, and I have the long list to discover the city as well.
Great, thank you. And then same question there for you, Jan, please.
Yep. So I'm original from Germany, so for example, you don't need a visa I think it's not necessary. For me, it wasn't. So this was one easy way. But as the others mentioned already, the accommodation market, it's very tough, to be fair. But luckily, UCD also provides some dorms, some students accommodations, but you can also find accommodations online. And we have a very supportive team here in UCD to help you out to find an accommodation. And from my cohort, for example, all of my fellow students could easily find accommodation. And if not, you can also move to an Airbnb or to a hotel in the first month, and then rent your apartment or rent your house or what else. So yeah, this is Ireland, but also like to add on this point, the Irish culture. So if you want to, or maybe you like Irish music, also the beer. So this is typical for Germany. So this is also a part of the culture, and it's so funny to have your studies done, and then you can move to the city center and have some pints. So please.
Excellent. Well, it's part of the culture, so you have to partake. Great, thank you, Jan. And Quang, how about yourself? How was your move to Dublin and Ireland?
So for me, I kind of late for the application and was near the starting for the semester, but like the school have sent a lot of instruction and comprehensive so that like I have already got all of the information that I required, like accommodation, tuition fee, and some of the document that we need to do when we arriving. So like there's nothing happened, and there's no problem for me when landing here. Yeah.
And you're having a nice time here then?
Yes, and everybody here is like really friendly. So like even that I missed the orientation, but like the program manager and others, they also give help and instruction like that for me to like get along with other people in my course.
Yeah. Great. Well, that actually leads into my final question, which was just to tell me a little bit about the program, how you're finding the program and your studies. And if there's anything else that you feel like you want to mention as well, please mention it. So just tell me a little bit, tell us about your program and your studies, and then anything else that you might want to mention. So we'll just go back around the same way. So Shweta, we'll come back to you, please.
Okay, so the first thing I really impressed as the practicals of every lesson I receive. Well, I have some experience years before, but I can see that I'm improve myself in every lecture I receive. I can receive a lot of support from the professional and lecturers. Sometimes I also ask them about the hand-on experience in accounting as well.
Yeah.
The program has been really giving me an insight as to how the whole accountancy and finance world works, because like it's a master's, so it's of course a step up. So it has been a bit challenging, but then the support of the faculties, like when mentioned, so we have been able to understand how to navigate through the program with all the assignments and all the new concepts you are coming across. So it has been great. It has been really interesting so far, I would say.
Great, thank you, guys. And anything else that you wanted to mention?
Well, I think we have more chance to have group activities. That's really good in teamwork and working environment.
Yeah, so like the cohort is a mix of international students and Irish students. So like working together really helps you understand the different perspective and where everyone is coming from. So that has been a really good experience for us.
Great.
Yeah.
Great, I'm glad. Yeah, thank you very much, guys. So Jan, we'll go to you. So a little bit about your program and anything else that you might want to talk about.
Yeah. As I mentioned, I'm part of the SEMS program, so it's dual qualification. So my home university is the UCD, and I'm going to exchange semester to the LSE in London. So this will be my next step. So I have started at the end of August this year, and my term ends end of December, and then I'm going to LSE for one term. After this term, I continue with my master thesis, and then the last part of the program is to have like an internship. But for example, for me, it's not necessary to do an internship because I have previous work experience. So this also counts, but it depends. So normally it's mandatory to have like an internship part in your program, but you don't have to, for example, like for me. So this is one key element. So it's 16 months at the UCD. So the program lasts 16 months. And it's very international, very diverse. I have mentioned the skill seminars with the corporate partners like Deloitte, Google, Salesforce. We also went, for example, to Coca-Cola in Belfast, to a production facility to visit them. And it's part of the program, and I really highly recommend this part of the program or the program itself. So please feel free to apply, and it's a very good opportunity to study here at UCD and to have like an easier access to the corporate world for after your graduation. So I want to add also, like, maybe I would highlight the familiar environment here at UCD. So especially the program directors, the lecturers, the teachers, everyone is very kind and very polite and helps you out if you have many questions, or they are always happy to help you. And this is one of the key elements here at UCD, I would say.
Great. Thanks very much, Jan. And then Kwang, finally to you, tell us a little bit about your program and anything else you might want to talk about.
So I think say that the program is well designed, that like all of the knowledge is like is really up to date, that have a lot practical application for me, even though that I already have working experience before, but like the lesson is really helpful for me. And like all of the lecturer is really nice, so like you can ask them all of the problem at any time. They will help you on assignment and also others. And I think that is best for students to use all of the resources that our school have, so that like career fair and connect networking event like that. So, and don't be worried, because like our school have all of the timeline and schedule for us. So like just see update from the Instagram from school like that, and then you will have all of the information that you need.
Great. All right. Thank you, Kwang. Thank you, all of you. Thank you very much for all your insights. I think it was very useful. So we'll go back to myself, and I'll just talk about the admissions process a little bit, and then we'll go to your questions. Okay. So if we just go to the slide, please, and we'll just move to the next slide, and we'll talk about the admissions application process. So as always, we say, please research your program. It's your best interest. Think about what you want to do. Pick the program that is best for you. We can try and have a look and see what we think as well. But it really is your career that you're going to be doing. So really think carefully about the program that you want to do in, and then you do need to apply online as well. Have your documents ready. Please upload these separately at the moment. You need to upload every document separately into the application one by one at the moment on the system we have. We need your transcripts, whatever transcripts you have, your CV, references, complete the essay questions, and just make sure you submit your application and pay the app fee. If you don't do any of these, it may delay somebody getting back to you, especially if you haven't submitted or paid your app fee, because it won't allow us to process your application. So please absolutely make sure you do those. And then finally, the assessment will come through and we'll review it. Please be patient. We will come back to you. We do have a new CRM system at the moment. And so as we're all familiarizing with that, things do take time. So just rest assured that we will get back to you. And it could take a few weeks, but you do need to just wait. As long as you have finished your application and submitted it and paid the application fee, you will get a response. It will be reviewed, but please be patient while we go through that and get it back to you. Okay, if you do have any questions, smurfit.admissions@ucd.ie. But, you know, that any questions that you may have, but if you're just wondering when's my application going to be reviewed, you know, it will be reviewed, but just please be patient. Okay, next slide, please. A little bit, I'll just sort of talk about scholarships here. So we do have a wide range of scholarships. The majority of these, you don't actually need to do anything. We will sort of see if there is something applicable for you. But have a look on the website there at the range of scholarships that are available. And if we can find something that we can give to you, we will. The two scholarships, the larger scholarships, the Government of Ireland Scholarship and the Global Excellence Scholarship, you do need to make a separate application for those. And you need to do that before around February or March. So you will need to make a separate application for those. We do get students asking, oh, can I delay my decision until I see if I've got a scholarship or not? But I would say that generally we don't do that. The scholarships are going to be awarded to those who've accepted a position. So I know that you would ideally like to know if you have a scholarship or not first, but it's more of a case that the scholarship's going to be awarded to somebody who has accepted to come onto the program. So it doesn't really go the other way. So you have to sort of make that commitment that you're going to be coming, and then the scholarship would be awarded to you. So that's the way it's done here. But we do try and award what scholarships we can. And I would highly recommend applying for the Government of Ireland and Global Excellence scholarships as well. Okay, next slide, please. Just a few questions here, just to sort of preempt some questions that you may have. Can I apply for more than one course? Absolutely. Very common. 2 courses, 2 programs is quite normal. I would say 3 maximum. Don't apply for more than that, just because it looks like you don't know what you want to study. But it's more than normal to apply for 2 programs. When should I apply? Now, as soon as possible. You're welcome to apply. It's rolling based, so it will keep going until the class is full. So generally, the earlier, the better. So you can apply now, and especially if you want those scholarships, I would recommend applying before the end of the year. Are there scholarships? Absolutely. And we'll do our best to award what we can. How do I accept my place? Once we give you an offer, you'll have to do 2 things. You'll have to accept the offer, and then you'll have to pay a deposit to confirm that place. Until you pay the deposit, your place is not confirmed. But once you pay the deposit, your place on the program is secure. So there, that will sort of lock you in place. So then you have it, and then you either have to meet the conditions or you're going to come next year. Can I speak to a current student? Absolutely. Get onto the website, and we highly recommend it. Trying to talk to a current student if possible, or like today, just to hear from our current students. Applications are rolling based, so they keep going. But if the program closes because it's met capacity, then we can't take any places. So that's why I sort of encourage early applications. Documents, I mentioned that. So transcripts, make sure you get your transcripts involved, also your CV and references. For the entry requirements for MSc programs, check your program, because the entry requirements are different for each program. So you will need to have a look into that. But generally, you will require an English language test of around an IELTS 7 or higher. But you can always submit that later. Your English language can be submitted later, but then we'll give you a conditional offer as long as you meet that English language requirement. You can check the status of your application through the portal, and it'll tell you if it's been submitted or under review. And when can I apply for the 2025 programs? You can apply for them now. So there's just some frequently asked questions, just to preempt some questions that you may have. But I guess now we'll head over to the questions for a little while. So let's see what questions we have. Oh, well, next slide. You can do next slide as well. I think the next slide is the final slide.
Yeah, that's the Masters Week still. Yeah.
Oh, yes. And just, sorry, to mention that we have the Masters Week as well. So next Monday, we have the virtual open day as well. Monday, November the 25th. So we have live sessions, the Masters program. So have a look on our website and you can find the link there. And please come and join us if you'd like to hear directly from some of our academics. You can hear all of them talking next Monday. So we encourage you to come to that.
Perfect. Then indeed we go to the questions, as this was the part of the presentation. Now it's your time, that all of you that have joined in to get to know more, but also you can ask questions. We'll be answering them possibly, hopefully, but we'll give it a try. Let's start off with some of the questions. Cara is asking, what level of English should I have for the master?
Generally for most of the programs at the business school, it will be an IELTS level 7 with a minimum of 6 in each of the bands. We do, if you look on the website, we do accept a wide range of English language tests, including Duolingo, TOEFL, and Pearson as well. So please check the website and it will tell you specifically what requirements you would need for each test. But for IELTS, you're looking at a level 7.
Okay, great. I think you already answered the next question, actually, that Cara was mentioning, the Duolingo. So you mentioned that's acceptable. That's being accepted. Nassim has a question. What are the requirements for the business analytics program? Is there anything specific you can say about that?
Yes, it's a little bit different, that program, because it can be, generally we're looking for slightly more quantitative skills. So for certain backgrounds, we just want to make sure you have some mathematics experience, and maybe some knowledge with management, information systems. So sort of knowing your way around handling data. So we do sort of look into that and just make sure that you have a little bit of data background and some math skills. So the first place we would look is in your transcripts to see if you have any modules in that. And then if you don't, then the way you can highlight that is any sort of courses that you may have taken, extracurricular courses, or even your work experience. And then in that case, highlight it to us in your questions about your experience, because we do need to see some sort of quantitative background there for that business analytics class. So just because you don't have it in your transcripts doesn't mean we won't accept you, but we will need to see some evidence that you would be able to do that program. So just make sure you include that in your application so we can see it. Okay.
Perfect. I see a thumbs up, so I guess that's answering the question.
Answered okay.
Yeah, otherwise let us know. V is asking, I see that the Master in HRM requires 3 years of work experience in human resource management. I'm assuming positions like an L&D specialist would count towards this requirement. Is that correct? Specific question, but maybe you can answer.
So generally, work experience is sort of desired, but not a necessity. It really depends if you've got sort of a background in human resources or an undergraduate or something like that. We do try and take a holistic view. So we don't often, we're not making it black and white because everybody's very different. And again, in this case, I would just need to see your application, your CV, your work experience, and just see exactly if it sort of counts towards it. Generally, we want to see full-time work experience, but we don't discount internships. But any kind of experience that you may have, just highlight it so we can see it clearly. Talking about references there, as a quick side note, when you do your references, I get asked all the time, what references do I need? Just pick the references that are best to show your character. So it can be one work reference, one academic reference, or 2 of one, or whatever suits you. If you've never done work experience, 2 academic references are fine. If you haven't been in academia for a long time, or you haven't studied for a long time, 2 work experience references are fine. So just pick the references that are suitable for you. So there's answer a slightly different question as well there. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. Next question, Nassim is asking, is there an online option? I think there's all, they're all campus.
Some programs, so you have to check that, yeah. It would very much, yeah, the management online we have. So just check what online options there are. I think it just depends. You'd have to check very carefully which programs actually do offer an online option, but there is part-time options as well. Project management online. So yeah, there is a couple of online options. For the part-time, be aware, it will really depend on your visa, whether you're allowed to do a part-time option. But online, there is a few. So just check the website there. But I do know there's management online and project management online.
Perfect. Okay, thank you very much. I hope that answered that question. Meanwhile, by the way, there are some more questions. I will read them out. There's also some polling questions. So for all of you, thank you to let us know your feedback via the poll as well. Also, in case you have to leave, do let us know still some feedback through the poll. And also for the people watching the recording, I know these days a lot of people do. You can all participate and interact with us also from the polling. So let us know. Next question, Priyansha says about Smurfit scholarships. Don't they require a separate application? Is they require a separate application. It was answered by the staff, but just to maybe, well, I can maybe read it out, that all applications are considered for scholarships, but best to apply early for that. So just to highlight that.
Yeah, you don't need a separate
so I think Ali
application for the majority of them, yeah.
Okay, thanks. You want to add something more, Alistair? No?
No, that's just fine, yeah. The majority of them, unless it's the ones I mentioned before, majority of them don't require a separate application.
Good, thank you. Next question from Sarah. Do you help with internships?
The careers team would help you sort of look into what options you may have. It would depend on the program you're doing, because some of the programs, the internships included in the summer semester. So for those ones in particular, they would help you in setting up an internship as it's part of your summer program. Otherwise, certainly the careers team would sort of help you make some connections there to see if you can get an internship, which we do encourage if you can do it, usually around the summer semester, because they're very valuable.
Great. Thank you. Savannah is asking, is there an online event dedicated to the Master in Food Business Strategy? And otherwise, if they're recorded. Do you know anything about that program, Alistair?
I'm not sure, because I know we've got the online event next Monday, but I don't. I'm not sure if food business are included in that or not. I'd have to look. I'd have to check that, I'm afraid.
Okay. Check back on the website, I guess, as well, right?
Yeah, I think that would be the best advice, yes. We do have that virtual open evening next Monday, so I'll have to have a look, see if the food business strategy are involved in that.
Okay, thank you. Then let's see, next question from Heron. Do all programs referring specifically to Master of Finance, are they eligible for the scholarships considered via application? I think that was answered. Right.
Yep. All eligible. There is some specific scholarships. So
okay.
There is like an aviation finance specific scholarship. So there are specific scholarships for certain masters, but majority of them are open for all masters programs.
Okay. Thank you. So we do see from Gillian in the chat the help about the session in Master in Food Business Strategy. There's actually a video available right there. So for the person that asked about that, who was Savannah, and others, possibly you can check out the video there. Sasha's asking, can we add additional documents to support the submitted application?
You should be able to, yeah. You should be able to add additional documents, or if we require something, then we will actually put a note that you are required to upload extra documents. So you should be able to add them to your application, as far as I'm aware.
Great. Okay. Question from, let's see. Which one? Yeah, so Sergey, just to make sure, should I first pay the tuition fee and then the sum will be reimbursed by a scholarship? Is that correct?
Generally, that would be, yeah. It sort of depends when you would get the scholarship, but yes, I mean, don't worry. If you've paid your tuition first and then you get a scholarship, then yes, it does get reimbursed to you. So it depends which way it goes around, but yes, it will either be reimbursed or the scholarship will be taken and then you'll pay the remaining.
Yeah. Question from Ali. Is it possible to submit the transcript of the university after applying for the program in case it takes a bit more time?
Not really, because we need the transcript to make, I can't make a decision if I can't see your transcript. So that's the crux of an application, is I need to see your background. So I would say don't make an application until you have your transcripts there. Even if they're preliminary transcripts or partial transcripts, that's fine, but we need to see something that you're in progress. But I would say that if you don't submit transcripts, no, I would request transcripts before I moved forward with that application.
Okay, that helps. Next question. Well, there was a question from Sasha actually about the recording of SEMS programs. So also Gillian, who's working behind the scene, helped with providing the video through the YouTube link actually there. So you can find it right there in the Q&A. For any others interested, you can watch it as well. Then there was actually a question from Jerry Ann, how likely it is to get awarded the scholarship was also answered. There are lots of scholarships, merit-based, circumstance-based, etc. It's best to get an application underway to know. So just to highlight that. And for now, the last question from Sarah. Who would be the best individual department to contact if I'm seeking information about the master, specifically in aviation finance and an MBA, as someone who has worked professionally for over a decade?
Right. Yes. Well, the two. So you've got the aviation finance and an MBA. So first of all, it depends which one you want to talk to, and then I would say if you want specific information about the programs, reach out to an academic on the program and ask them, because they will give you far more information. If it's more general questions, then you can just reach out to us here at admissions. But if you're wanting specific information about one of the programs, try one of the academics, or you can come to our virtual open evening and hear from some of the academics who are representing the programs there. So that would be sort of my advice there.
Thank you. That is appreciated. And regarding the MBA, I can also add that we have a session next week, so you can actually join the same similar webinar from us next week about the MBA. So the link is right there in the chat as well. So if you're interested in that, to launch your MBA journey in Dublin, you can sign up right there and join us. And having said that, so I also know some people asked about the recording. So this is being recorded. If you missed the beginning, you can actually stay on and it will restart automatically. And for others, we will send you the recording as well. Useful links are in the link section under apps. So at the bottom there you find apps, and there's a link section. We have put there links to the programs, the admissions, and how to apply. And for now, I don't see further questions. I think it seems that all is clear. We're getting thank yous. I see already. So thank you everyone also for joining. So we hope you enjoyed it. Well, great to see we had a lot of people from different countries join. And last but not least, maybe a word over to Alistair, wrapping the session up. But from my side, thank you very much for having joined. Also the students, I know your insights were very valuable to potential students. So thanks a lot for your time and all. Alistair, over to you.
Great. Thank you, Luke. Yeah, and thank you everybody for attending. I hope it was useful. Any questions that you may have, please feel free to drop us an email. But I hope we answer some of your questions and we can see your applications soon. And then just a particular thank you as well to the current students there. Thank you for attending and helping out, because I know it's always appreciated. And I know everybody likes to hear from you guys about your actual experience, because it's going to be very different to my experience at the university. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. So any questions you may have, feel free to drop us an email. And I hope that was of some use to you today. Okay. Thank you all.
And the last polling, sorry to block us, but finishing of the session to see how we did. Hope you enjoyed the session, and as Alistair mentioned, to see some of you in Dublin next year.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Nice. Bye, everybody.